Hi, Clint here, Crimson Landscape, here to talk about your landscape design. Alrighty, this design was hard. It was hard for the fact of when we do landscape designs with a house that has a magnolia, we have to really follow the root structure of the tree. So those magnolia roots are really, really shallow, and we're trying to fill in plants and shallow roots, and it's hard to find space, and it's hard to get things symmetrical and plants lined up. So I had to get a bit creative in how we did this. Alrighty, we're going to start on the right hand side and take in consideration when we're doing this design is that we're battling shallow roots. So I did a river rock around the tree in a pattern that I thought made sense. I didn't want to do a really crazy wild pattern around it just because I thought it would look funky. You already have that basically circular pattern with the jasmine under your trees, so we kind of use that. I'm using that basically as a theme around the trees. The gravel we can get, it's going to be a tannish color, or we can get a gray color, or we can get a kind of a whitish color. It depends on your flavor. I think more of a native Texas look to your landscape probably makes more sense, so I'd probably go with a brown color. The brown's actually going to be a smidge cheaper than most of the other options. Alright, so I did include a flagstone walk path as an option in the gravel. It's not required. I would put the flagstone in the mulch area, again, because we're trying to eat up space where there's a shallow root structures of the tree. Over here we have hostas, 3 together, red yuccas, again we're kind of going native Texas theme, wood ferns that you would find in kind of a tropical forest or in the Pacific Northwest. In the back is a brattlebrea, great plant, gets nice and big, beautiful blooms in the spring. From a traditional shrub perspective, I didn't really pick a lot of traditional shrubs, but I did add the Burford hollies here and just a simple nandina here because it has a shallow root structure. Over here, this will be mondo grass. The exact shape and size of this section is TBD. I'm not sure if we can fill in a little bit more grass here to reduce the size of the bed. If I need to expand the bed just a smidge and add a few more mondo grass, not sure. We'll have to do this layout on site just to test the sun coverage as well as the root structure. If you notice, I added these boulders. These boulders soften the corners where circles kind of meet, so it doesn't come together in a funky point. We have variegated liripe underneath the Japanese maple. Gotta have a Japanese maple. You live in Dallas, they're like a must. You gotta be part of that club. This is a bloodgood Japanese maple. I did the maroon version rather than the green version for the simple fact that the maroon version looks better on your brick. Mahonia, this is a soft, no, I'm lying to you. This is an Oregon grape Mahonia. Yopon hollies in front. This is the other traditional shrub I picked, just something evergreen. And variegated liripe again here in the front, just so there's pops of color. Again, I mixed in a little bit more gravel. So there's big gravel and small gravel. The right size I'm just showing in the images big gravel. On the left will show the small gravel. They're not meant to have two different gravels. I'm just showing you just in the design so you can see the difference in size. Then by the front door, instead of seasonal for this case, because I know you wanted a low maintenance, I'm doing hostas. Love hostas. Then in the front corner here, we got what's a stinking plant called? Everillo sedge. Then underneath the roof of your house in front of these windows, I have 2 rows of endless summer hydrangeas. They'll come pink, a really pretty pink. Endless summer has beautiful blooms pretty much most of the summer. If you wanted a kind of a bluish color, you could. This is that one hydrangea that if you had a little bit of iron to it, you can make it kind of a bluish tint. It looks really cool. Over here, this is variegated hosta. Again, we're not doing seasonal, so we're just using the hostas as our seasonal. Giant liripe. Then I repeated the nandina and the Burfords in the back, and I repeated the yuccas from the other side. Then, of course, the gravel. This side we have the smaller gravel. Border I would use is a raw steel edge. It's a heavy-duty commercial grade. It'll last a long time because it's thick. It's not painted, so really it fades into the landscape, and all you really see, you'll see the mulch, and from a distance, the steel edge looks like mulch or dirt. On this side as well, I didn't take out the Asian jasmine. I left it in place. I would use steel edge around it to clean it up to make it look more permanent. Then the last bit of it, as you notice over here, I didn't do the gravel. I did the gravel on this side. The only reason is I wanted this side to stand out a little bit more because this is more of a shade heavy side, so that's why I had this gravel stand out. I did try it on the oak tree, and to me it looked goofy. So I took it out, went back with this design. All right, just a couple design notes. When we lay all this out, we may have to make some tweaks to the final design, but this is pretty close from a plant count and gets this color texture that'll, I think, meet your needs and solve your problem for all the erosion, dirt issues you're having in your yard. All right, one last thing I'll say is about the plants is when we do a design like this in a space that's a little bit darker, we do add clumps or groupings of plants together for the simple fact that at distance in the shade, they stand out a little bit more. Meaning, if I add one red plant somewhere in there in a shade area, the red plant you wouldn't be able to see that well just because it's kind of dark. But if I add 7 red plants, then you would be able to see it because at distance it stands out. Meaning you can see the variegated liripe here. You could see the variegated hostas. You could see the green hostas here. You could see the variegated liripe. You can clearly see the hydrangeas. So at distance, we're getting that pop of color. That's why there's the mass planting as you see. Alrighty, let me come above, let you see it from above. It's actually a pretty cool design, I like it. Alright, last bit of it, let me go over to lights. Lights are a must, love lights. These are RGBW remote control lights, meaning the lights were on a photocell, they turn on based on the time you specify. Or at that, correction, they turn on at sunset, then turn off how many hours after sunset, 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, etc. Or they can be on all night. And we give you a color changing remote control where you walk up to the light itself, get it within a couple of feet of the light, hit a button, and the light changes color. Today is the 250th anniversary of the Army, and my wife, myself, and my son all served in the Army, so we use that right now for the lights red, white, and blue. Definitely add on, and this will be an a la carte option in the estimate. I haven't designed the back yet because we generally keep these separate, but what I did is do the sod in the back. So there's a sod, and over here I did the gravel. Let me get some square footage numbers real fast so I can kind of give you an idea of how many square footage is that. So the left side over here, that's 700 square footage, so that's 7 yards of gravel. The gravel, like the cheaper gravel, costs $159 a piece, 7 times 159 plus installation. So just for the gravel on that side, so 7 times 159, that's almost $1,200 in gravel, then probably another $1,000 to install the gravel. On this side over here, this is 1,350 square feet of sod, so that's about 2 pallets. So it's about $2,600, give or take, to install sod over here versus gravel. If we did gravel over here, that would be roughly 12 yards of gravel, which would be a ton. That's a ton of gravel. I would probably go with grass on the right side, this side right here, as we discussed, and I would go with gravel over here as well. All right, let me pause there. I'll come back to the front, and I'll pause it in the front here so you can stare at your beautiful design landscape. Next steps is I will design the back and get that over to you. If you are a first-time guest checking out one of our designs, you can reach out to us for more information at crimsonlandscape.com.